Hey, Travels with Dottie here, and I have the long anticipated results of my look into the water quality in quartzsite, in particular in the LTVA La Posa South. As many of you know, you pay for your permit here and you're allowed access to the drinking water. And I had some concerns last year about the drinking water, in particular the sodium content. I had this thing where I was using it to using the water from here to atomize in the interior atmosphere here through the humidifier, because I'm prone to nosebleeds, and that was raising the humidity in here for me. And I discovered after long investigation that was the thing that was turning the flame from my heater and my stovetop from blue, healthy blue, to unhealthy orange. And it turns out it was the saline content that I was throwing into the atmosphere. Once I switched to distilled water, boom, problem went away. And I was also concerned because I didn't really drink that water, so I wasn't concerned for myself, but I was concerned for others that may have hypertension and may be sensitive to salt intake. So I wanted to know, well, how much salt is in this water? So that's when I embarked on the journey. I bought a test kit off Amazon as I started testing. I also contacted the BLM and told them what I wanted to do, the video I wanted to do, and I wanted to give them an opportunity to comment on it. And I also asked, are your test results public? And apparently they're not. There's not a mechanism to release them. But I talked to Jason Van Buskirk, the public affairs specialist at the Bureau of Land Management, Colorado River District out of Yuma. And we talked a few times on the phone, and he sent me an email. And the email says, it was nice to visit with you on the phone. I have an official answer for you. BLM adheres to strict guidelines in accordance with ADEQ regulatory requirements. A third party performs monthly water tests, consistently confirming and documenting that all mineral levels adhere to safety parameters. See the following federal and state statutes and rules. First is Safe Drinking Water Act of 1974. Then there's 40 CFR Part 141, ARS Title 49, Article 9, AAC Title 18, Chapter 4 and 5. So they need to follow all those guidelines, and they do, and I think they probably do a really good job of it. But let's talk about my results, and let me show you. I'm going to pick up the camera, and I'm going to turn around the gimbal real quick here. And I'm going to face it down to my results. Now, what I've done is all these colors mean different things, and it's on the bottle here, anywhere from total hardness to chlorine to iron, mercury, chlorine, copper, lead, zinc, magnesium, QAC, fluoride, sodium chloride, hydrogen sulfate, total alkalinity, carbonate, and pH, all those things. But the one we're interested in is the sodium levels. So sodium chloride, parts per million. It shows in the box generally what's acceptable, up to 250. And then when it's real light, it's outside of that. And you can see, if you look, we want to get this out of the way so we get some decent focus here. There we go. The three on the left are from the LTVA, and you can see that it's a very light color, a little bit of tinge to it. It's kind of tough to see whether it is at this, give this a minute, if it's at the 250 level here or the 500. It's a judgment call. One seems pretty clearly 500. Another one seems to fit more into the 250. So it's certainly at the top. There's a lot of stuff. So over here, we have two samples. The first one is from bottled water that I bought, and the second one is from the reverse osmosis water, those kiosks in town that are like 5 gallons for $1. So if you look over here, we're going to see it's those are pretty close to 0. So clearly, if you're concerned about sodium, if let's go back to me. You don't have to keep looking at that. Back to me. So the warning would be like this. If you have high blood pressure and you know that you're sensitive to sodium and salt, right? And all that means is you take salt in and your body retains fluid. It fills up. You know, when you retain fluid, it adds to your blood volume, believe it or not, because most of your blood is water. So your body retains water. There's more blood volume, so there's more liquid in the pipeline. So it's gonna increase the pressure in the pipeline. It's gonna increase your blood pressure. One of I have high blood pressure, and the first line medication is called a diuretic, and what it does is it reduces the moisture in your body. And as a result, I got to get up a couple times a night, if you know what I'm saying. But it keeps my blood pressure down because it keeps the volume down. Now, I could easily counteract that by drinking salty water, or just as the same thing as eating a bunch of Lay's potato chips or sprinkling salt on my food. So the warning about the water is no different. If you're sensitive to salt, treat the water here in the LTVA like you treat potato chips and like you treat sprinkling salt on things. So if you're sensitive, don't drink the water. I think you're probably fine to bathe in it or wash dishes in it and do all kinds of things you want to do in it using your toilet, but I probably wouldn't drink it, like I wouldn't suggest you buy Lay's potato chips if you have high blood pressure. That's all there is to it. The water is perfectly safe. Every other category on here that I mentioned, it's at the 0 or low range. So it's good water. You don't need to worry about the water in the LTVA. I want to thank the BLM for working with me and supporting the video, supporting the idea that that I could do this video. As far as I'm concerned, all they needed to do was say, "Hey, I don't want you doing a video about that stuff." And while I legally certainly would First Amendment right to do that, I wouldn't have done it. I would have honored their request, but they did. And I even offered, I said, if you don't want me to do this video, just say so, and I just won't do it. I wanted to be cooperative. I didn't think it was that big a deal. I think it would have been different if I had found toxic levels of something. I would have made a bigger deal of it. But all I found was what I expected to, high levels of sodium. And it's no coincidence that when you go into town to these kiosks where you get the 5 gallons for $1, they say in big letters salt free, or either I think they say salt free. They might say low salt, but there's big advertisement that when you're buying your water here, you're getting low salt. And you don't see that everywhere in the country at water stations, so there must be a reason. And I think we know the reason why, because they know the aquifer has geologic features that add sodium to the groundwater. That's all there is to it. I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you the next time.